Okay, B'ezrat Hashem, continuing our Kinim Masechta Chazara. We're holding on Daf He Amud Bet. The beginning, the first word on the line is Yeush Ba'alim. It's towards the bottom of the Amud, and we're starting where it says Usedeh. Asks the Gemara. We said until now a field that is there's a type of Beit HaPras which is a Sadeh She'necharash Ba'kever, and a type of Beit HaPras which is a Sadeh She'avad Ba'kever. One of them is a field which Sadeh She'avad Ba'kever is a field which there's a body buried there and you don't remember where. There's Tumat Ohel and the whole field is Tameh, you can't walk through it and it needs to be marked. And then there's a Sadeh She'necharash Ba'kever where the field was plowed. So you could assume that the kever that was there was plowed, and that you're allowed to walk through. You just have to make sure that there are no bones exposed, and then you could walk through. So, but you don't need to. Therefore, you don't need to mark it. So the Gemara asks, a field that had a kever that was plowed in it doesn't need to be marked. V'hatenan, we learned matzah sadeh mitzuyenet. Let's say a guy finds a field and he sees that there is a marking on the floor. They poured cement to mark that there's a kever here on the floor. He doesn't know, is this field, he knows this field is a Beit HaPras. Okay, which type of Beit HaPras is it? He doesn't know. Ve'en yodea mativa, he doesn't know what the deal is with this field. Yesh ba'ilanot, if there are trees in the field, then Beyadua shenecherash ba'kever. Then it's clear that it's a field that necherash ba'kever, that the kever, the grave was necherash, was plowed. Ein ba'ilanot, if there are no trees there, beyadua she'avad ba'kever, you know that it's a sadeh she'avad ba'kever, that the grave was lost in it. So what do you see from here? You see clearly that the guy is approaching the field and it's marked, and there are two possibilities. Either it's a Sadeh She'avad Ba'kever or a Sadeh She'necharash Ba'kever, he doesn't know which one, and we're giving an indicator, if there's trees, then you know it was plowed. Well, 1 second. We just said before that it doesn't even need to be marked if it's plowed. So you don't need an indicator of trees. You can assume that if it's marked, that must mean that it's a Sadeh She'avad Ba'kever, not a Sadeh She'necharash Ba'kever. So you see, you see from here that it sounds like a Sadeh She'necharash Ba'kever also needs to be marked. So Rabbi Yehuda said, Rabbi Yehuda is a continuation of the brighter. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Ad sheyesh sham zaken o talmid. Rabbi Yehuda says you can't just rely on the fact that there are trees to assume that it's a Sadeh She'necharash Ba'kever. You can't be sure unless there is a zaken, an elderly person, or a talmid, one of the rabbinic students who will know what the deal is with this field. Because not everybody is baki with regards to this to be able to know whether it is a Sadeh She'necharash Ba'kever or a Sadeh She'avad Ba'kever. Amar Rav Papa. So Rav Papa says the answer now. Kitanya hahi besadeh she'avad ba'kever. You know what we're talking about? We're talking about a Sadeh She'avad Ba'kever. Originally, the field was a field that there was a body buried there, and you didn't know where. Tetzinua, and they marked it. And then what happened? It was plowed afterwards, perhaps. So yesh ba'ilanot, if there are trees there, beyadua shenecharash ba'kever, then you know that it was plowed afterwards, and it has the status of a sadeh shenecharash ba'kever, and you could walk through it, even though originally it was a sadeh she'avad ba'kever. Ein ba'ilanot, if there are no trees there, then beyadua shenecharash ba'kever. Beyadua she'avad ba'kever. We know that it's a sadeh she'avad ba'kever, that the kever was lost there. Asks the Gemara, velechush dilma ilanot migavai vekever miberai. So why aren't we choshesh? If we know originally this field was a field that it's a sadeh that she'avad ba'kever, that the kever was lost in there, and then part of it was plowed, and there were trees there, so you could assume it was plowed, and you could go through. So the Gemara says, well, why aren't we choshesh? Why don't we worry that maybe the trees are migavai, the trees are in the middle of the field, after you're standing by the boundary of the field. The trees are down there 30, 40 feet ahead in the middle of the field. The kever mibarai, and the kever is on the outside part of the field right in front of you. So how could you cross the field? Maybe the kever is in the area that didn't get plowed in front of you. So says the Gemara, Kedamar Ula, like Ula said elsewhere, Be'omdin ala givulin. Ula said, we're talking about a case where the trees are by the givulin, by the boundaries of the field. So Achanami Be'omdin ala givulin. Also over here, by our case, we'll explain the case is that the trees are by the boundaries of the field. So ask the Gemara, okay, maybe the other way around. Dilma tuma migavari veilanot miberai. Maybe the tuma is migavari. The tuma is on the inside, meaning the tuma is far ahead, and the ilanot, the trees, are migavai, mibarai, on the outside by the boundaries. Meaning, still, how could you cross? Maybe once you pass the trees, the tuma is over there. So says the Gemara, b'misubachin. We're talking about misubachin, that the trees are. Rashi says they're not. It's not like a line, a furrow, cleanly plowed trees. Just the whole area was plowed, and there's trees all over the place. Therefore, you could assume that it's a sadeh shenechrash bakever now. Or if you want, I'll tell you a different answer. Ha-amaran, we said earlier, ein marchikin tziyun mimekom tuma. You're not allowed to bury the tziyun, you're not allowed to, make the tziyun distant from the place of tuma. So if the tuma is really far ahead and the trees are here by the border, so you can't make a tziyun, you can't make the marking distant from the tuma. The fact that the marking is here must mean that the immediate area is where the safek was, and that area was plowed. So therefore, we don't have to worry that the trees are in front and there's a body beyond the trees, because the marker would be right before the immediate area of safek. Shalol hafsid Eretz Yisrael, and you're not allowed to do that because not to be mafsid, not to cause loss of land of Eretz Yisrael, not to waste land. So you have to do it right where the safek tuma is. We said in the Brighter, Rabbi Yehuda Omer ad she'esham zaken o talmid, Rabbi Yehuda said you can't rely on the fact that it's plowed or not plowed. You have to know from a zaken, an elderly man, or a talmid, a young rabbi, who would know what the deal is with the field. Amar Abaye, says Abaye, Shema Mina, you hear from this statement of Rabbi Yehuda, Tzurva Merabanan, the young rabbi, the Ika Bemata, who's in the place, Kol Mili Demata Alei Aramya. All of the things having to do with that town, Alei Aramya, it falls upon him. Meaning it's his responsibility to know these things when it comes to Tumah V'Tahara in the town. You see that from the statement of Rabbi Yehuda.